How to earn back trust when you've lost it completely. This is a really devastating place to be. Have you ever had someone really important lose trust in you completely? Maybe a colleague, a manager, a customer, a friend, or perhaps you've been on the other side and lost trust in someone else. If that's the case, you'll know this, and it's important. Trust takes time to build, but it can disappear surprisingly quickly, particularly if someone does the wrong thing often enough. It's sad, but the good news? Lost trust can mostly be rebuilt. The bad news? It usually takes a fair bit longer to rebuild than it did to lose. So if this is you, you've got some work to do. This podcast will help you with that. My name is Brian Dance, and I've spent more than 30 years working in business and leadership. When it comes to trust, something I've noticed often is that everybody makes mistakes. You, me, them, everybody, said the great Blues Brothers. And it's true. Every leader gets things wrong from time to time. The difference is what they do next. Welcome to the Long Way Forward. Today, we're going to explore a really challenging but incredibly important topic: lost trust and how to earn it back. What you need to do to earn trust back. Now, before we get into that, if you find value in these conversations and you enjoy the podcast, please subscribe. We've got plenty more discussions ahead, and the back catalogue's got some great episodes. Let's start. I'm going to begin with something that many people don't want to hear. The first step in rebuilding trust is accepting responsibility, owning it. Not explaining it away, not minimizing it, blaming circumstances or someone else. Accepting responsibility for your actions or your part in them. Think about that. When trust has been damaged, what people are often looking for is acknowledgement from the one that's done the damage. They want to know that you understand the impact. They want to know that you recognize the issue. And they want to know that you're taking it and them seriously. One of the fastest ways to further damage trust, once you've done the deed, once you've damaged it, one of the fastest ways to break it even further is to become defensive. Most of us have seen this before. Someone misses a commitment. They break a promise. They make a mistake. And they immediately start explaining why it wasn't really their fault. The problem is, explanations like that rarely rebuild trust. Owning the situation, on the other hand, does. A simple statement such as, "You're right. I said I would do that, and I didn't," can be far more powerful than a 5-minute explanation, because accountability demonstrates emotional maturity. And that maturity helps rebuild confidence, even when you've made a mistake or done the wrong thing, rightly, wrongly, intentionally, unintentionally. That maturity of your behaviours helps rebuild the confidence. Now, let's be clear though. Rebuilding trust is not about saying sorry repeatedly. Notice I didn't say sorry last time, I just owned it. So don't say sorry all the time. It's about changing your behaviour. And that's where many people get stuck. They think trust returns because of words. I mean, they help, but they won't build trust right back. Trust returns because of evidence. People need to see you doing something different. Let me give you an example. Imagine a manager who regularly misses deadlines, doesn't do what they say they're going to do when they said they would do it. Eventually, the team loses confidence in that manager. The manager apologizes, and yeah, we appreciate the apology, but what happens next? If it's more missed deadlines, trust continues on a downward slope. And if deadlines suddenly start being met regularly, trust recovers. The behaviour matters more than the apology. Think about that. Trust is not restored by intention. Trust is restored by evidence. This is one of the reasons that rebuilding trust takes time. People need enough evidence to experience and believe that the change is genuine. Think about that. They need to perceive and experience that the change is genuine. Here's another mistake people make. When they lose trust, they sometimes expect it to return immediately. Well, I said sorry, didn't I? Yeah, it doesn't cut it. Doesn't work. Trust doesn't come back just like that. Imagine dropping a glass vase. You can glue it back together, piece by piece, but it takes time. Trust is a bit like that. The relationship can often be repaired. Sometimes it can even become stronger than before. But it takes time and it takes patience. And remember this, you don't get to decide when somebody trusts you again. They do. And that's an important distinction. Trust is given by other people. Given. They give you their trust voluntarily. We didn't ask for it. We can't ask for it. We can't claim it. We can't expect it. It's given. One of the most effective trust-building behaviours I've observed is consistency. Now, I've spoken quite a bit about consistency in previous episodes because it matters, and it matters a lot. And on consistency, when someone damages trust, people become watchful. They become alert. They pay attention. They look for patterns and they look for proof. And what they're looking for, well, they're asking themselves a question. And the question is, can I rely on this person now? Can I believe them? Can I trust them? And they're watching you. They're looking for evidence one way or another. So what you do very much matters. What you're observed to be doing, what you do, not just saying sorry, owning the issue and doing something about it. That's what they're looking for. The answer is not found in a single action, though. It's found in repeated actions, day after day, week after week, month after month. Consistency becomes the evidence that they're looking for, and it builds confidence. That confidence in you becomes trust in you. Here's an interesting question on trust. Have you ever thought about this? What happens when trust has been broken accidentally rather than deliberately? There's a big distinction between the two. Maybe you forgot something important, like a wedding anniversary or a birthday or a deadline. Maybe you made a poor decision. Maybe you misunderstood expectations. Does that make it okay? Does the process change? Not really. Same principle. Take responsibility, own it, be honest, change your behaviour. Demonstrate to that person that you've let down consistency. Allow time, though. These principles work regardless of the cause. Take responsibility, be honest, change behaviour, and be consistent about it. Midway through this episode, think about this. Is there a relationship in your life that would improve if trust was stronger? Guarantee you the answer is yes. Now, I hope you've got a relationship in your mind. Would it be a professional relationship, a leadership relationship, a personal relationship? If so, what would rebuilding trust look like? In the sales space, building trust to a customer. In the leadership space, building trust to employees or co-workers. Relationships, I don't think I need to explain that one. What conversation might need to happen? What would rebuilding trust look like? What actions would you take? Just remember, we're always coming back to those first four. Take responsibility, be honest, change the behaviour that's damaging trust, demonstrate consistency, and allow time. Because rebuilding trust It sometimes begins with a difficult conversation, and it's a difficult conversation that you might have been avoiding. Once you have it, life gets easier. Now, I often also share thoughts like this on LinkedIn. So if you'd like to grow your network, connect with me there. I'd love to have you on board. Just look me up, Brian Dance, on LinkedIn. Now let's talk about honesty. It's actually close to one of my tenets, courtesy, integrity. Integrity is honesty, or it's part of it. Honesty is part of integrity. Honesty is another critical ingredient in rebuilding trust. When trust has been damaged, transparency becomes important. People don't expect perfection. They do expect honesty, though. And that means being upfront. It means being clear. It means being truthful. Particularly when the truth is uncomfortable. Think about that. It's an uncomfortable truth, but I'm going to tell you. If you start a sentence with that, straight away they've got their attention. It's an uncomfortable truth, but I'm going to tell you. You have their attention, and then you tell it transparently. You will rebuild trust. I've seen many leaders, rebuild significant trust simply by being transparent, admitting a mistake, sharing a lesson they've learned, explaining what they were doing differently moving forward. Some of the best leaders I've ever worked with have done this brilliantly. When they've made a mistake, they've said, hey, look, this is what happened. I made a bad call. I'm going to do it differently next time. Can you forgive me? And resoundingly, the answer is usually yes. Now, they've done that not because they're perfect, but when they did it, people could see authenticity. They're genuine. Now, authenticity is a great word. It builds credibility. Authenticity. Walk the walk. Walk the talk. Do what you say you're going to do. Hallmarks of authenticity. And it all builds trust. So practically, if you're trying to rebuild trust, just focus on these 5 things. That's 5 things to focus on to rebuild trust. First, acknowledge what happened. Second, accept responsibility. Third, communicate honestly. And fourth, change the behaviour that caused the issue. For example, if you accidentally hurt someone, I'm sorry. I've hurt you. I know that. I've done the wrong thing. How can I make this right? Right, you've told me what I need to do to make this right. That's what I will do because you matter to me. Your trust is important to me. And I've damaged that. I've let you down. Thank you. Notice I never said sorry. It shouldn't need to be said. I owned the issue. I acknowledged the hurt. I told them what I wanted to do. And I thanked them just for having the communication with me. The 5th part of that, do what you say you're going to do consistently. Do it long enough for people to see the change. Remember, they have to perceive it. They have to experience it. Now, these 5 steps won't guarantee instant results, but they will dramatically improve your chances. Trust me on this. Don't ask me how I learned the hard way. Because trust is not rebuilt through promises. It's rebuilt through proof. Reflect on something for me. Let's reflect. Where in your life could trust be stronger? For me, as a leader, it's probably new employees that are still learning their way around our business. As a salesperson, it's customers, whether they're existing customers that I don't know very well, or whether they're prospects that I'm working on that I really want to trust me. So there's a couple of examples for you. Where in your life could trust be stronger? And what is one action you could take this week to strengthen it? Maybe it's following through with a commitment. Maybe it's having a conversation that you've been putting off. Perhaps it's admitting a mistake. A lot of people struggle with that one, but if you've done the wrong thing, rightly or wrongly, just own it. Perhaps it's simply becoming more reliable. Whatever it is, start there. Trust me on this. These are techniques I've used throughout my career. When I've done the wrong thing, I own it. If you know me personally or professionally, you'll know that I operate this way. It's very rewarding for everyone in my life because they know what they're going to get. They know where they stand, and I hope that they trust me. Now, remembering, once you've damaged trust, it can often be rebuilt, but not overnight, and again, not through words alone, but through consistent action, showing up, being present, doing what you say you're going to do. And when that trust returns, often relationships become stronger because people know how much they mean to you. Communication improves, influence improves, performance improves, and trust makes that happen because it sits underneath all of that. How cool is that? Thank you for joining me on this episode of The Long Way Forward. If you've enjoyed this discussion, please like, comment, or subscribe. It helps more people discover these conversations and improve their journey forward. In the next episode, we're going to shift from rebuilding trust to creating it and explore how to build trust faster within teams and organizations. So if you want to build trust within teams and organizations, this next episode is for you. It's going to be a ripper. Until then, thank you for listening. This is The Long Way Forward.